Yo, yo. What up? Yo. Yo. Yep. Okay. All right. I started reading it. And yeah, I think it looked pretty good. Just have to go through some of the details. Um, Let me see. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Um, the whole scoring thing, I had a bunch of work in progress. I'm down to go through that as well and kind of show you what I was thinking in terms of improving how to properly do a scoring algo. One sec. Hold on. That might have been it, but I think it's not like properly updated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I'm just writing notes. Hmm. Okay. Let's see. Um, Let me show you my screen. I know, but it's grown on me against my own will. Um, okay. You had this text. So this multi-repo support. Make this bigger. You can see that, right? Perfect. So yeah, I think again the main thing was how do we like merge all the data, or uh, like what does a navigation look like between, are we showing all the data from all repos, or are we showing just some data from some repos, or like individual repos at a time. And I guess like for me the answer is kind of both. Well, so we probably want the ability to have like both individual repo views, but then also aggregate everything from the individual repos and have like another like meta summarization step to like summarize.
That's also why I think this step one, like separating the repo into owner and name, can be useful for filtering later too.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can think about summarization is going to be a whole thing. I mean, I think we can do it per repo, per contributor. It makes a lot of sense, but it does kind of kill the information density of how succinct some of those update statuses are per repo.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's going to require some thinking because I want to keep who is doing what on certain repos separate for sure.
Yeah. Um, okay, so this is fine. This is fine. Um, yeah, like the bones are there for this. It's just that we'll probably want to write tests first as well, so we can know when we break things, because this is like
I
gonna be
agree.
like a pretty big refactor. So I would start by like writing tests for the existing code, and then we can modify more securely from there. Um, and yeah, we can even just tell the AI to like write tests first for any code that it's going to touch before implementing anything. Okay. Yeah. So some of the data, like the way, for example, let me pull it up, the schema right here. Um, so the way it's set up here with, so user summaries, repo summaries, tags. So there's not repo specific tags. So that's a consideration. Do we want like different sets of tags and configurations for each repo, or
Nah.
do we have the same universal set of tags that gets put
I
across
kind
all
of see it
repos?
as like these are different towns, like Varrock and Falador in a way. So let's try and go for universal tags, and
Yeah.
then
Okay.
it can be sort of dynamic because I mean not every repo is going to be TypeScript based. So maybe we abstract it to like based on the programming language
Yeah.
used or something.
Yeah. Um, yeah. It depends. Like the the ideal way of doing this is like having it specifically configured with someone who has knowledge of the repo, who can like tell what is the actual you know uh, proper segmentation or things that matter, or like how it's kind of um, set up. So the that's going to be, I think, so bit, kind of rewinding a bit, the overall like change to the scoring system I want to make things like more universal is treat like a pull request as like the atomic unit, and we assign scores to pull requests, and then from there like we can map that to different users in many different dynamic ways. So one configuration could be like it just the pull request score maps to like just the people who like wrote the code in the pull request, or another version could be where it looks at the code that it was modifying and like flows it up to the other contributors that worked in that area of the code base as well. Or their code was referenced and therefore it flows upwards that way. So and it makes it more piecemeal too, because a PR can is like strictly belongs to a repo. So in terms of normalizing scores between repos, we would just assume that like the more PR something has, the higher score it's gonna have relatively overall to go around, and kind of treating it as like XP, and a PR is like you completed a quest or something. And the
How about we do weighting per repo in a way?
Well, that'll be like the layer on top is so we'll score PRs within a repo, and then in order to like then do each one of these scoring like rules essentially has like some sort of formula, and then a weight of like uh, so each some repos could have like, okay, at 20% modifier, that this is like only 20% as like important as these other repos, and therefore no matter how like the repo internally has this activity, it'll still kind of be filtered down, or like weighted less at the top level. So starting from the atomic pieces, which is like the pull requests, and then like summarizing upwards into repos and timeframes within that repo, and then like summarizing upwards again into like an org and like a set of repos, and then all the individual like contributors, they're probably the only other thing that's like not in that hierarchy per se of like belonging to specific repos or anything, except they'll just be like references from that user to like any number of PRs across any number of repos, and from there we can kind of back propagate or calculate a score, as the aggregate of all the users, PRs they made, and of course like this other activity as well like comments and issues and things like that. And so or reviews on PRs and things like that. But those I think should not be considered like their own root level or kind of atomic entities, but more so just they will get um, their weights or whatever like downstream of the PR that they belong to or the issue that they belong to. Um, and so yeah, then like so with PRs like issues are also PRs basically. Even in, like the Git
Yeah.
numbering system, the same thing. So issues will be scored as well, and we can of course have like different type of weighting for issues. Like how much you want to essentially reward people for issues or not. And so again, all these weights too. I was kind of messaging this earlier. Having it like hard coded as a part of the repo, it just causes people to like eventually like game the algorithm, and then that requires like governance on these weights, which then requires like it becomes like a point of centralization or like something that's worth capturing, because if you can control the governance and the weights, you can control the capital flow through the system. And so like that route is like not one we should go down. And I've been there, done that. The other way basically is to have all these like references and like relative weights that describe the connections between things, but the seed of value
Yeah.
and how it's calculated comes externally from some sort of human judgment or human input. Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
We want to provide understanding first and foremost before we even get to like the I would say scoring and incentives. Like we want to make it so that evaluators and decision makers can understand who is doing what and where value is created. Just kind of like similar to coordinate at the end of an epoch,
Mm-hmm.
where you kind of see the what someone did,
Yeah.
and we want to make those kind of retrospective, performance review sessions more productive, more efficient, less overhead to even get there, by auto populating it with uh, summaries and visualizations.
Yeah. Makes sense. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting like thinking through how like we talked about this in like source code days of this like futuristic UI where you can see a 3D graph of all the activity and like kind of um, you know hone in and like group things together. And
I think we
you
should
know
stick to 2D. I'm a 3D guy.
sorry,
You know what I'm
2D, I mean
saying? But
not 3D as in like actually
you mean
3D,
like a
just
force directed graph?
yeah, like you know visualization type thing. And then
Yeah.
except now this time with like AI, you could just like tell it, be like, hey, filter out, like filter for all the pull requests that improved this thing. And then the this is where kind of like the AI aspect comes in, is like
Really cool. I don't
allow
think I've ever seen that.
so like allow a user to like select parts of that graph and then like see and do like more summarization on it essentially. Or aggregate that and then be like, the user can then be like, hey, with this like filter I generated targeting these people specifically, um, I want you to like score them and like distribute this amount of tokens to them. um, and so that's for me, I think like the end goal is like people allow people to like directly fund things, and what those things are, instead of like any other form of capital allocation. It's always like committees and people deciding like where to put the money. But this, it's like much more direct of whoever wants to give it, and wherever whoever they want to give it to, like let them just describe it, and we have all the data, and the AI can use to like map out like what those things are. But we don't necessarily, and so we can still generate a score for like the like leaderboard or whatever, but those scores shouldn't be what's like used to distribute value. Like the value distribution part should be much more like dynamically calculated on demand. So they have a setup where like the ElizaOS DAO distributes like a certain amount for every week's like contribution. So um, you know it would like filter out all the data of activity to like all the activity in a certain week, and then like distribute just to that week, or let people bundle that into like you know this like month or this quarter, and so people can distribute funds at like whatever like hyper granular or kind of like more broad and uh,
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot
yeah.
of data for GitHub as well as Discord as well.
Yeah.
And I want to figure out that connection later, and that's also what kind of made me interested in Privy, because we could link it with that. But I think just finding ways to visualize the activities, whether they're PRs or issues, because if someone made issues about a thing that became important, and there's PRs made, and it was like addressing user feedback directly, that we have these data pipelines for all that, including the user feedback part,
Mm-hmm.
because not everyone makes GitHub issues. They come into the Discord and just talk about it or report it, so it could reduce friction between between these platforms.
Yeah. Um, and so back to this like multi-repo thing. Yeah, it makes sense that to store the.
I didn't check the database yet. I was setting it up on my laptop, and I'll check right now. All right, so repositories, I see 2 repos. The thing is, for PR reviews, or let's look at. Yeah, it looks like it actually worked. Like, repository is showing a different value for something in the ElizaOS plugins org and Eliza. Not every table has repo and org context, though. Like, wouldn't it be useful if we made sure every table had the repo and org columns?
Um, let's see. I mean, not every table, but yeah, certain tables for sure. Cause like tables, for example, issue comments don't need a repo, uh, because it's already related to an issue, and that issue would be related to a certain repo.
I
But
see.
we can so pull requests. I just realized seems like it's not. Oh no, it is. Okay, repository. So pull request has it. Raw pull request files. So like this doesn't need repo ID per se because the PR
PR
ID.
comments? What about that?
So PR comments. So raw issues has repository. Um,
If it has PR ID, it'll link to an org.
comments. All commit files. PR comments has PR ID, and then the PR ID is linked to a repo. Um, so like, we could add like org as well, but the like it's probably worth adding it in like repositories. Uh,
Raw PR files doesn't have a column for repo or org. Raw
well,
everything
raw PR
else
files
does.
has a thing for PRs, PR ID.
Sure.
So then PR
Yeah.
ID then has repo. Um, but yeah, like in the database, I think we should still store this as like
a single string. So I know you made that PR recently for the config update to allow like specifying org and repo named separately. Um,
But it combines it too.
yeah, so in the
So we'd have both.
database we would combine it. Yeah, and like it would be
Everything else
worth.
looks good though in the
Yeah.
database. I did a test with a bunch of commands, and it all went through. Here, I'll just comment. It's 109 for the pull request. Put it in the chat here, and I'll take a screenshot, I guess, of.
Okay. So yeah, like adding org to the repositories table is probably the only thing we need to do, and then that way we can.
Repositories. Oh, that I mean,
So it'll
we
be in
have
repo ID, but it would also be good to have a separate field for it so we can like do things like fetch all repositories for a certain organization in the queries.
good idea. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I was wondering about the like duplicated commits. Like I'm curious what it would be exactly with shared history if it's like forks of repos. Um,
We just count it once.
yeah, but I'm curious like how the what the hashes look like in the data, um,
Yeah.
and if we can.
It also kind of goes towards your, the whole like linking of stuff, and if someone builds on another person's PR, it's kind of
Yeah,
like a citation.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like we'll need to probably do a bit more than just deduplicate, but like actually reference, um, somehow.
Yeah, maybe a counter or something.
Yeah, like the like Git history itself has these references, but um, we like let me see what we're storing for the commits. Hmm. Yeah, we could maybe like store certain extra data in commits, or it would yes probably do a different way though, because that would store so much unnecessary data. It would probably just need like an extra like processing step to like detect forks and stuff, and then have a um, like another table that links between repos and repos, um, that links source or like forked code references to other repos, um, and then from there like remove like the commit history on the forked repo prior to the like base repo.
Hmm.
I'm wondering I should maybe just like comment some of these things on here. Can you like reply to certain things? I don't think so. Mm-hmm.
We can turn those into sub issues if you want.
No, it's fine. Just gonna make a markdown in here. This this is so basically we want to okay, and then update the DB tables. Gotta add org field.
Oh, I'm doing that right now. It's cool. I'm gonna add it to this PR if.
Oh, okay. All good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Tests. Let's make some tests.
Yeah. Write tests for each of the pipelines modules using tests. Summarization. First pass will summarize each repo. So another thing I was thinking is like following on to this like atomic way of doing it. Starting off by summarizing the PR, which actually already happens with CodeRabbit. So actually having like specific logic to extract the CodeRabbit summaries.
It doesn't really always. It's kind of inconsistent.
Well, I mean, the ones that have it at least, like including that with into the AI summarizer, so that it can have a better idea of what each.
Like
Yeah, that
I
too.
have some exact calls for doing a diff. Give it a little bit of context.
Yeah, we can do that too. Like pass it the actual code changes. But basically, like start by summarizing each PR, and then the weekly summary would then just look at the summaries of each PR in that week and then generate another meta summary, instead of like the weekly summary starting off by, just giving the raw data for the whole week, to the LLM. And so it's kind of like a bit more fractal that way. Um, and then, again, the repo level summary for each repo would just be like aggregating on whatever time scales, the PR or issue summaries. Uh, and then so we should basically come up with good prompts to summarize a PR and summarize a issue, um, including like the reviews and comments. Because if you can get that in like a nice format, that's like great for like further processing by an LLM, or even just a human visibility of like getting a complete like clear rundown of each PR and what it did.
We're not doing that. We're not summarizing PRs.
Like we're not storing PR summaries directly. Like we're storing summaries for repos and users, and in that we like give the AI data on all the PRs, but we don't we don't first generate individual summaries for each PR and then aggregate upwards. We just like give the raw data for a whole week or something and then get it to summarize that way. Um,
Oh, yeah. I think I got it with the table now. And all the tests passed. I'll put a little picture in the chat. Yeah, we don't have PR summaries. User summaries. No issue summaries. Man, feels... It's a lot of API calls.
yeah, but the nice part is I think it'll like reduce our token use a lot because we're not sending the same data over and over, the same raw data over and over, for a given day or week or month, you know.
We're getting raw data for a month? No way.
I
Need to
mean,
double check. That's a lot.
yeah. I mean, that's why it costs however much it costs. It's still reasonable, but yeah, it is a lot of tokens. Um, this way it'll be much more efficient, because like as soon as you go like broader scale, the level of detail you need is less and less from each zone. So,
LLM formatter is where I can basically kind of see where we're sending. Yeah, we got top contributors, summary. Title issue. We're not even doing the body of issues. No, we are. Never mind.
yeah, I added that recently.
It's not bad. We got... at some point I gotta go through and show you the knowledge repo, because that's where I've been doing a lot of the LLM summarization stuff with in combination from other data sources. So like the GitHub is just one source that I'm using as an ingredient with all these other ones, and creating the reports for agents and webhooks and AI news summaries, and it's feeding into our news show, which left Shaw almost like speechless. He was taking a screenshot every time one of them spoke because it was just so on point.
Damn.
It was like a testament to how good the data is, because it's like they were kind of doing the almost like the boardroom scenario better than an elite boardroom. I'll share an episode so I don't sound crazy. Okay, I think it's working. So check the voice chat, and this will. We have a script to basically record these as video, which I'm planning to do automatically recording and automatic editing and
Transcriptions.
uploading. Yeah, I've got a whole process for that. I'm got to work on next, but yeah, watch it live. And that's coming from, I'll show you the data that it comes from as well.
Oh, you sent it in the chat.
Voice chat here. Yeah. And the thing that I just sent, that daily JSON, I'm gonna add. Actually, it's better if I tell you about it after you watch.
Okay. Is it the Schmo time one?
Yeah, that's the link to watching it.
Okay, let's pull it up. Oh yeah, I didn't actually end up opening this. I forgot about it by the time I went on desktop because it wasn't working on mobile. Let's see.
Yeah, that's why we do video as well. It's a Puppeteer stream script. That's the name we're going by.
Oh.
Our large token holders are pressing for immediate token metadata updates to align with our rebrand. Should we enable on-chain voting now or start with off-chain signaling?
Whales want change, whales drive price action. 100,000 plus holders, but most are dust. Power law dictates strategy. Enable voting, consolidate now.
Rushing governance before building governance muscle creates permanent precedence. Solana DAOs lack EVM's mature tooling. We need incremental legitimacy, not rushed decisions.
The metadata mismatch is creating market confusion, but premature voting without safeguards is worse than delayed action. Bad governance is an existential risk.
Yo, if the party can't agree on the playlist, you don't let the loudest homie pick every track. Gotta build consensus before you build governance.
That's sick. So this is like real-time rendered then, eh?
Tomorrow's demo day will showcase
Yeah.
agent-powered governance tools. But
That's
can we
so sick.
satisfy
Opens up
urgent
some cool
stakeholder demands while
possibilities.
building sustainable governance?
Agent-assisted consensus is our future. Tomorrow we'll demonstrate polls, ranked choice voting, and AI-mediated discussions. We should be the governance innovation lab we claim to be.
Markets hate uncertainty. Each day with inconsistent branding burns value. Start simple. Use temperature check, then snapshot vote, then execute. Don't overcomplicate.
This ain't just about changing a picture, fam. It's about who we are. Let the AI agents help us vibe check this decision. They're literally our product.
The most valuable DAOs evolve governance iteratively. Start with off-chain signaling now, build the muscle, then deploy on-chain votes when ready. Intelligence before immutability.
And then it goes into credits.
Nice.
It's pretty short, but you know,
Sick.
we can make it any length we want.
Yeah.
And we can bundle a bunch into a weekly show if we want.
That's so dope. Yeah, this is like... This brings me
And
back
there's a
to like
As
the
well. Keep it open.
machinima days. This is like a new version of that.
Yeah, and then if you check out the JSON.
Today
in the
we debated
chat,
the challenging
it's just
balance
opening
between...
up- Oh yeah, that's the post-credit scene. You need
Oh,
to
shit.
not do the transition for though.
I thought it looped back to the start. I missed the post credits. Wait, the messages. Let's see. The JSON. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm turning this JSON into a webhook for like a automated survey or poll to kind of vibe check or temperature check, kind of what they were talking about a little bit as well.
Yeah.
So it's a way. This is exactly what we're sending to the council, by the way. So the same data, but I'm gonna add in a couple of like a few multiple choice answers that people can react to from a Discord bot.
Word.
But yeah, that we get that from a big aggregated summary. It's like 50,000 tokens into that, which I'll show you the aggregated version. Here, this is the source that we get a kind of full picture. It contains stats from the GitHub pipeline, AI news, so from various Discords, X, summaries, and we kind of look for what are the top things to discuss.
Yeah. So it's pulling from Twitter as well?
Yeah, that's the AI news pipeline.
Got it.
Now I'm kind of doing a pre-process step, so this is still a bit verbose, and I've got another thing that's just focused on extracting facts, and I'm A/B testing it to see if I could just work off of like you know, a more distilled version.
Yeah, like so much of this stuff all comes down to like purifying and refining the data more, you know, like Walter White cooking up meth of like 99% purity. You need to like optimize every process and like, you know, remove any like sort of noise pollution coming in the data, and because if you can be really like filtered and precise with what you give to the LLM, that's when it performs the best.
Yeah, and we can see that once you have like a good process, you know, it's kind of like it can become a closed loop system.
Yeah.
If you're interested in the fact extraction I'm doing, I put it there. It's that's kind of the latest formula for taking the file you have open right now and then processing it for the most pure that we can get.
Okay. Wait, let me see if I...
Yeah, we can modify basically, in terms of governance, we can have special counsel just for weights maybe in the future, or figuring out. And Shaw just found himself agreeing so much with a lot of what the council was saying.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
It's like the future is kind of like signing off on things and making decisions faster versus all that kind of manual work.
Yeah, especially like the AI can just take in everyone's like individual preferences and then like surface up the best path forward from there, instead of having to like, you know, each individual having to project themselves onto everyone else, and like, you know, then it's
The
like whoever's the
characters are
loudest
kinda modeled
wins.
that way. They're archetypes. So you got the degen, the trader, you got the quant, you've got the casual, that's Peepo, you know.
Yeah. Okay. Enhance scoring and aggregation.
Yeah, we would probably just add like a bunch of new tables for orgs, specific stuff if we need it per se. We just have like maybe org summaries or something.
Yeah, that sounds good. I just pushed a small fix for adding it to the repositories table. So that PR for at least step 1.1 should be good.
Yeah.
Update type definitions. There's like a types file that I don't know if I updated it.
Which one?
It is in task 1.1, the last checkbox. There's a types file for
Just run like what is it? The type check command, and then it'll tell you what's broken.
TSC something.
No, you can just do bun run type check. Or if you run bun run check, it'll lint and check the code. Yeah, you should get it from there.
Yeah, I got some errors.
Okay, I'm gonna comment on the issue with the notes I had on stuff. See your PR.
Okay.
What prompt do you use to generate the phases and tasks?
It was more of a conversation.
It's not like a specific thing that you use when you ask it to generate these like tasks and phases.
I asked. Let me look through and see. Can't I like save prompts? Export chat. There we go. I'm just gonna send this to you.
Sure. With the naming, we should probably make it consistent. Instead of org, call it owner.
Damn.
Because, yeah, it's like using both right now.
I see. Yeah, that's a good call. Wait, I have owner. And you want it to be org?
No, there's it is owner in the config, but in the updates you made to, let me see, the schema, you added org to the repositories table. You should make that owner. And if you want, you could also add name in there as well, even though like it could be derived from repo ID, but it's probably worth putting in there because you return it in the like query as
What,
well.
name as repo?
Huh?
Name as repo?
In the repositories table, you added org, change the org to owner, and then you can
Yep.
also add name. To that table. Then yeah, register repository would then take a name parameter as well. I'm gonna maybe get it to start writing some tests.
Yep. Just gonna test these changes real quick. Anything else in the plan though, like analyze? So we want to do analysis of issues and PRs and
Yeah, I added. Yeah, I can send it in the chat as well. My like sort of comments. So, it did get most of it, but yeah, I think maybe add that part about. So I basically had comments on how to handle like the shared commit history across multiple repos, and then how to update the summarization flows to be kind of fractal instead. And then some notes
I'm
on the
getting
user
a thing. It says when I run db generate, it says is owner column and repositories table created or renamed from another column, and it's we're renaming it from org to owner or just owner.
Is it so? Did you already run the generate before?
I went ahead and deleted the SQLite, and I'm just running generate.
If it's not from, yeah, your PR doesn't have it at all, so yeah, if it shouldn't be. Can you just screen share maybe? I want to see what exactly it's showing.
Yeah, it's a little tricky. It's on another computer. One sec.
Oh, okay. Can you scroll down so I can see the full message? Okay, so you already had org in there. Okay, just do select rename column. create column. Yeah. Hold on. Did you run so did you run bun run db generate right before this, right? Okay, try running bun run db migrate as well. Okay. Now you can try. Yeah, so once you generate the migrations, you have to apply them to the database with migrate. You're muted, by the way, if you're saying anything. So what are these tests? You run this test every time you commit? It's probably doing quite a bit of queries just for test. If you run it just for a small amount, probably good enough. And also if you just commit the code and push it, then the tests will run on the GitHub automatically anyways. So you can see them there, not have to run it twice. You're still muted, by the way. I don't know if you're saying anything.
Yeah, I can't really talk on that laptop. It's mix
Okay.
audio issues.
Word.
Let me see if I can fix this fun run check. And I'll post a screenshot to see if it's yeah, I should only test with maybe a day or two. It grabs a week of it's pretty inefficient testing. I'll just say that. Looks good. We've got the I'll put it in a chat here. The table's looking good there. Yeah, all right. I'll commit this. Yeah, it's not sophisticated test. I'm just put it in a chat if you want to just probably better to build something else from scratch though, honestly.
In chat.
Yeah. All right. Anything else for this PR?
Oh, okay, so it's basically just something similar to what's in the GitHub action.
Yeah,
Just
pretty
word
much.
script. Yeah, it's all good. Anything else with PR? Let me just check it. Did you push the latest changes with the migrations and everything?
Yeah.
Owner name, got it. Okay, good. Okay, I don't see the migrations in here.
Oh, am I supposed to push that? There's like a meta drizzle journal, like
Yeah.
these.
If it's not in the git ignore, you should push them, because that's what will like update the database once we merge it to have the new tables or the new fields and tables and stuff.
I just added them. Is that correct?
Let me see.
So this is whenever we change any of the schemas.
Okay, so yeah, so basically, yeah, this is fine, but you right now have like 2 migrations
Shit.
in there, so you can, it's fine, that happens like when you're working on a certain PR, but to basically want to like squash them into one migration. So if you just delete all those files, like the Burly Thor and Married Lizard, as well as both the snapshot files, and like delete the files that are added in journal.json, and then run db generate again, it'll just generate one single migration for all the changes you made.
Okay, so delete the Married Lizard, Burly Thor, and
9 and 10 snapshot JSON. And then in the journal JSON, remove the 9 and 10 entries.
and then after I do that, to squash it, I do a migrate or what?
After you deleted all the...
Deleted and updated. Yeah.
So did you run dbGenerate again?
I did, and it gave me another 9.
Yeah. And now you have just a single migration, and then so just commit what you have now. And you can run dbmigrate again just to make sure it's all consistent, but since you already applied the previous 2 migrations, it probably won't do anything. We just like regenerated them so that it's a single one instead of 2. Because like the 2 right now is like you first added the org field and then renamed it to owner, but
yeah, I did it when I did migrate. I'm getting getting an error for bun run check.
Can you paste the error in chat?
Yeah, I'll do it with also this context.
Oh, okay. You could just delete your local database and then run a db sync to pull a like clean database and then run migrate
Yeah,
again.
that's a good idea. Data sync. After doing that, I can just hit migrate.
If you got a new database, then just migrate. It should work fine now.
All right, no errors.
Sweet. So I just push that up and should be Gucci.
All right. Just did that.
Cool. We'll just wait for the tests to pass, then we can merge. Oh, something failed. Table repository says no column named owner. Should have. Oh, it's because the migrations didn't run. I wonder if this is something we should do in the actual pipeline. One sec. Okay, no, it does the migration.
Let me try Gemini.
No, it's just like a race condition with like the pipeline not being updated, but or I mean but it looks like it is applying the migration, so makes me curious. If you run it locally, like the
GitHub, the database file. Yeah, you're right. It's not updated.
After you ran migrate on this, after downloading the new data, if you run like the pipeline, does it work?
What, the migrate command? Yeah.
Yeah, after running migrate, if you run the actual pipelines, is there any errors you get?
Oh, I see.
Because it's
I tested
the GitHub test.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
You got an error?
Yeah, let me see. It wants me to run db generate migrate, and then I want to try with.
Did you get the same error though that I'm getting here, or that the GitHub action is getting? The SQL table repositories has no column named owner.
Yep, same error.
Okay, and if you run like the Drizzle Studio, like the database viewer or something, and you open the repositories table there, does it have owner? Because I'm wondering if it's just the migration failed to apply or what.
You mean like in Drizzle Studio? Yeah, I could see. Last time I saw it had it. So if I go into the repositories table. Oh, no.
It doesn't.
It did until I synced. When I synced, yeah.
So after you sync, you have to run the migrate again. And you ran migrate and it didn't apply those changes. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, let me try again. Let me run data sync and then migrate. Said migration complete. Now, should I try Studio again after I did that?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it's not in Studio.
That is strange. So it's not applying the migration. I wonder if your generated migration was somehow generated an outdated one. I'm gonna check out your repo or check out your branch and check on my side. the issue?
Well, when I run run data sync, it resets the SQLite to match the remote. And so I have to do the migrate.
So I'm thinking it might be because the remote had some sort of migration that you didn't have locally when you generated yours. So you could try like deleting your migrations again, syncing from remote, then running dbgenerate. But it might not be it. I'll have to try it
Yeah,
out.
I'm synced with the main branch.
Git check out multi. Okay. No, let's do. Drizzle. Wait. Why don't I have it? Okay. Now I have that.
If you look in Drizzle migrations in the studio, there's ID, hash, and created at. I don't have any IDs.
I think that's normal. I don't either.
I see.
Oh yeah, when I run migrate, it it fails to migrate it because the owner field is set to be not null, but the existing entries in the database have like they need to have that field set to something. So what we can do is
I see.
so I'll just tell it.
Well, that's also in schema.ts for inside of source lib.
Source. Yeah, that's fine. That's where it generated it from. So what we can do is Wait, no, where's schema? Data schema. Um, we'll have to like set defaults for these, or update the migrations to like set them to whatever. But I would say like just default to empty string for now, and that's like will be doable. And then we can regenerate the migrations. Actually, it's kind of doesn't really help anything to set it to that. Actually, it's fine. We can update it in the scripts. I'm gonna push a commit to your branch, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Is it pushed? Okay, that worked. Let's see if it worked in here. Oh. It failed now. Same error. Okay, let me see.
Did you push to my branch?
Yeah, I did. But it's still giving an error, so investigating further.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because so it's giving an error basically because it's not, the names aren't set in the thing, so we'll have to update the pipelines to actually like put it in the database when it runs. Yeah, so this is the issue. It's like when you register the repository, it doesn't update the name. So you wanted to Why is this not updated?
I'm getting poked for another task I gotta work on, data
Okay.
related as well. But let's async on this this multi-repo stuff, and then I also want to chat about just next sprint planning, and I gotta still use the transcript and summary, which both are awesome. But let's discuss that next time.
For sure. Sounds good.
Cool. I'll catch you later. See ya.
Peace.
Alright, we will fix this bug, but we're off stream for now. Good night.